Okay, now let's see the basic VSU lab guide. How to add the configuration on two switches, then we can form the VSU successful. And here, the left one is the topology. We have two switches, switch 1 and switch 2, and we use two links to connect with each other. And here some parameters, the domain ID we use is 1. And the switch ID we use, the left one, switch 1 is 1 and switch 2 is 2. The left priority is 200 and the right priority is 150. And here I use the real device to do the VSU because currently our simulator cannot support this function. And in the real network, the connection is a little different. I use the interface about 10 gigabit Ethernet 1/49 and 1/50, these two interface. So maybe in your network, you will have different slot and different interface number to connect with each other. So you have to change, depends on your real network. In the right one is our lab guide. If you have the same device, you can do the communication, you can do the configuration together. But pay attention, you must make sure your network supports, your device supports the VSU feature. And first, let's say the background. Because in your network, if you want to deploy the MSTP and VRP together to avoid the loop and also provide your gateway backup, and the disadvantage is it's a little complex to do the configuration and very difficult to manage it. And if one link is broken, you will find this slowly fail over, right? Because one link is broken, you have to detect and calculate a backup interface, and usually in the seconds. And the third one, if you use the MSTP, some interface will be blocked. So this is a waste for your bandwidth. That's why we want to use a VSU to replace MSTP and VRP. But also we can provide a function like MSTP and VRP. And the purpose of this lab is we want you to learn about and understand the application scenario of the VSU technology. And you also can understand the VSU configuration better. And here is the basic topology. I already explained on the left one. And the requirement is we hope you can configure VSU domain ID, device priority, and the name and everything. Then finally, you can change the mode from standalone to become VSU. Then we can form the VSU successful. And now let's do the practice, follow the step one by one. So first is switch 1. Now I use the name is D switch 1. You also can change the name or keep the original name, it doesn't matter. Enter the switch 1. Then you have to enter the global configuration, and you have to use a switch, virtual, and domain. By default, the domain is 100, right? And the domain range is from 1 to 255. So you can set the domain ID. About the domain ID, you only keep the same ID in two switches, it's enough. You can use the other number like the domain 10. It also can work, but here we use domain 1. And then you have to set your current switch ID. Switch ID, we use switch ID 1, and set the priority, switch ID 1, priority to become 200. Because we hope that switch 1 can be our master, so you can give high priority for the VSU. And you can add some descriptions. Which one description is SW1? Enter. So this is a basic of the VSU, the domain ID, priority, and also the switch ID. And except this one, we also have to add the special interface on the link, right, to become the VSL. You have to exist in the VSL port, enter. You have to add the interface into the VSL to become the VSL link. And here we use the interface slot 1 and the interface 49 and 50. And the command is port member interface 10 gigabit 1/49. And also you can add 50 together. So the basic configuration of switch 1 is ready. And here you can directly to change the mode to become VSU, and the configuration is switch convert in the mode to become virtual, because now it's standalone. Okay, and there is a warning. If you convert the mode, we will delete the configuration files and reload the switch. So here is a warning to you. Are you sure to continue or not? So here you have to select yes. And do you want to recover the files or in the virtual mode? You can select no. So now you will find we are restart our device switch 1, right? And at the same time, you can add the configuration on switch 2. Enable password, and then you have to change the mode, add some basic configuration of switch 2, the switch virtual domain to become 1. And we will use the switch ID 2. In the switch ID 2, the priority is 150. And you can add some description of the switch 2 is SW2. And also you have to add the VSL. Support member interface 10 gigabit 1/49. And also add 50. Right? Then you can change the mode to become VSU. Switch, convert the mode to become virtual. Okay, yes. No. Okay. Now we will find our switch 2 also will restart. We can go back to say the switch 1. And here is the process we restart our switch. There is some warning for VSU, right? And the topology initial complete. And all the VSL ports are in the same card. This is a detection. And in your real network, we suggest if you have multiple VSL interface, they can locate a different line card. It will provide higher reliability. And there also is a warning for VSU, the topology conversion. Please wait a moment, something like this. Still is restart. The switch 2 also is restart now. We need some time to wait the device starts successful, and between switch 1 and switch 2, they also have to negotiate with each other with the VSU parameters. Now you will find some special interface here, right? We have 4 interface, switch 2 and switch 1. 2 switches interface in slot 1 and 49 and 50. So we already detected the configuration in switch 1 and switch 2. I guess it should be worked now. So now you will find the name will become Ruijie, not DSW1 and DSW2. Also, if now you click the telnet configuration of switch 2, the name will be same Ruijie, right? So that means we already restart successful. You can enter. The first time you log in the device, we will let you to set the password. But this step depends on which RJOS system you have. By default, the RJOS 12, we will ask you to set the password to improve the security. So for example, now we will use a password Ruijie at 123. And also set Ruijie at 123. Okay, so now we enter the switch successful. Then you can use some command to check the status. For example, show switch virtual rule. Okay, now we will find we have 2 switches here. Switch ID 1 and one of them in the domain 1. And the first switch is 200. The position is local. Now we already log in the switch 1, so the position is local. And the region means the master. And the status is okay. The rule is active. This is a state, and this is a description. And here are the information for switch 2. Okay. So this is a basic one you can check. And if you want to check some information about switch 2, if you still click the DSW switch 2 and enter Ruijie and 123, use the same show switch virtual rule, you will find the position still is local, right? Because now, although we will click DSW2, but still log in the master. If you want to change it, enter into the switch 2, you have to use the command session, and here the information is device or master. Now we want to add to the device 2. This is the device number. Now we only have 2 devices. And the slot M1 depends on your device support 1 management slot or maybe support 2 management cards. 1. Now you will find the name become Ruijie standby, right? And enter. You can show switch virtual in the virtual rule. You will find now you only can see the slot information for the switch 2. The local and priority is 150. So this is a basic one. And also you can check the other information like on the master. You can show the switch virtual link. Link here. We have 2 links to connect with each other, right? And all of them will use the AP interface. And also you can show the virtual link on your standby device. Show switch virtual link, not only rule, but also you can check the link, right? And the number will become 0 because we only calculate the number on the master. And another one you can show is check the topology. On the master, show switch virtual topology. Okay, so now you will find who is master, who is backup, something like this. So that's all about the whole process of VSU. Of course, if you deploy the VSU in your real network, if you only have the configuration for VSU, it's not enough. You also have to add the basic, like how to give IP address, how to give the dynamic routing protocol like OSPF, how to give some IP interface, something like this. Then the whole network can work. So about this lab, I only show you how to provide the basic function to make the two switches together to become the VSU. You also have to add the other configuration on the VSU now, then your network can work. So that's all. Thank you.